All right. Let's see how big the delay is. Okay, seems to be a couple of seconds, at least until I see it in YouTube Studio. Welcome to this very short notice Lötstream. Katriana's here. Hello. Welcome. I imagine a bunch of our friends from DOS Reloaded will join in, because this is DOS Reloaded user Stefan's machine. He sent it over with a ton of other stuff. A rusty A500 that I will be using for testing the most probably broken Terrible Fire card, and an A500 motherboard that he wants to use for his own purposes, where I already replaced or installed some dip sockets for a memory expansion. And the same we will try here on this 520 ST. I've never owned a 520 ST. I used to have a Mega ST4 with a Mega File 30 back in the 90s because someone was throwing it away, so I rescued it and used it a bit, but not for much. It came with the SM124 monochrome monitor, so it was not very interesting to me. Katrina says I should do this with several of my machines. This is why I made that Bounty Hunter thread a while ago. Do you mean like upgrading memory? But also, well, I also, the Amiga back there, I just wanted to use for debugging the Terrible Fire. But I started cleaning it because it was dirty and rusted. And now I secretly have the hope to actually restore it to a much nicer condition. The keyboard I got for it, not from Stefan, but somewhere else, is totally yellowed. And also half the keys are not working. So I want to take it apart. There's like a ton of screws back here. Clean the PCB, the membrane PCB. Send them to competent people, yeah. For Stefan, I'm doing this basically free of charge right now. He sent me over a bunch of dip sockets, etc. But I think I would have to need to make a business out of this, because it's actually really time consuming. I do like to do it, but if I start to do something like this more often, I don't get to do the other stuff that I usually do. This is fine basically, because I think we won't take too long. The Amiga is more or less ready. I'm just waiting for my X-Acto knives to come before I start cutting jumpers. No, we can have a quick look at the Amiga perhaps. So this is Stefan's A500 board. It's a revision 6A. It says right here in the corner. And the 6A has the nice advantage of using only 4 chips for the 512K base memory. And there are 4 places for additional memory. And the only thing that you need to do is to cut jumper 2 over here in the lower middle position, and make a connection to the upper, from the middle to the upper position. And then you basically have 1 megabyte of RAM here installed. However, then the trapdoor expansion won't work anymore, because you can only have 1 megabyte between those two. But it's possible to put more memory here on the side, or by using a PyStorm or a different accelerator in the Motorola socket, which is fine. But having 1 megabyte here, and also having 1 megabyte of chip mem, which is possible thanks to the newer Agnes chip here, the 8372A, is a good thing. So I think this upgrade is fine, and you don't have to deal with the trapdoor expansion. Plus, in theory, this is reversible. You can just set the jumper again to the different thingy. And this time you don't even have to cut, you just have to remove the solder and put the blob on the other end, which is much nicer. So this is more or less done, and I would hope to be able to finish the Atari as well, more or less, today. Drink of the evening is the little alcohol-free Radler. And Stefan is again 1 minute behind, which it doesn't matter. Alright, the machine is already open. It came to me like this, and it also needs a good clean, I would say, maybe even some retro brighting. I think this drive does not belong in here, I think, because it does not really fit, but doesn't matter. Oh, I do see a YM2149F. That's the sound chip, Yamaha's sound chip, and I hear the guinea pigs in the next room, which means I might have to check up on them. That's a weird thing. It's a brass thingy that where the drive rests on. Oh well. Interesting thing here is the integrated power supply, and I think we will have to take it out probably. There's the keyboard. The keyboard attaches. And there's also the keyboard also has the joystick ports. And there's like a little thing here. And there's the joystick ports. Okay, I'm not gonna touch this more or less. That's actually quite funny. It says here yellow, red, brown, orange. So it basically says where the cables go. That's nice. Green, okay. Yeah, cool. Interesting. Yeah, interesting construction. I'm not sure if all of you know that basically the Atari ST is almost a Commodore computer, and the Amiga almost isn't a Commodore computer, because the Atari was made when something broke off here. So you need to do some gluing, Stefan. One of the posts broke off. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. So the Atari was made when Jack Tramiel left Commodore. He was kicked out, more or less. And not really kicked out, but he said, I don't want to work for this company anymore, which is interesting. Hi, and Eric. Because he founded Commodore. And he knew that Commodore was preparing to launch the Amiga, which wasn't even developed by Commodore, but by a different company called Amiga, and then the machine was actually called the Lorraine before, but then they basically took the company name and named it Amiga. It was the Amiga 1000. And he knew that this would launch basically, and they wanted to beat them to the market with a Motorola 68000 based machine, which was the original Atari ST basically. Interesting enough, the 68000 here is soldered onto the motherboard, which is a pain in the ass if you want to remove that. There's also a PyStorm in development for the ST. Okay, the drive is from the 1040 ST. Stefan says, yeah, I mean, it will be compatible for sure. I'm a bit wary of this. So, keyboard we removed with yellow to the bottom, I think. We can probably look that up again. Yeah, that was yellow to the bottom. Just when we want to, well, put them back again. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, there's a lot of chips here. So these are much less density. And those are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So they are not 64 kilo. Are those 64 kilobyte? Let me think. 64, no, they must be. Actually, the Amiga ones have to be 128 kilobytes. And these are factor 16 less, so they are 8 kilobytes, right? Yeah, that's 8 kilobytes. Right. Also very fancy, this huge capacitor, like right across the whole thing here. I'm gonna remove the power supply. Red to the left, but that makes only sense in that way. I'm not gonna touch any of the capacitors. There's like some big Y class or whatever filter capacitors. I don't know. There seems to be the switching element here. I'm just gonna put this to the side. And let's say that's that. I'm also gonna detach the floppy drive. Okay, that's a nice one. I like it. I will keep this. This is very nice. Floppy drives are always coming in handy. Now let's see how we can get this board out without breaking any more stuff. So I'm gonna take this post here. We have to put it back at some point. Oh boy. And I'm also gonna take out this post here. Okay, comes out with the shield. And there's dead things inside? No, but just a lot of dust. I had dead animals inside of the A500. I'm gonna put away these voltage regulators. That's for another video. Whoops. That will be a mod for the 1541. So the only thing that we need is to get this massive, really massive RF shield, which is much higher quality than the one on the Amiga. We need to get that off. And I think, so this is some kind of expansion port, I guess, which is fine. Not sure what's in here. Probably the video chip, I guess, because it's like in a metal can, probably for interference reasons. This is probably the RF modulator. Yeah, there's a RCA jack, so that's that thing. That's the video out. So let's have a look at the ports. I think this must be video out, I guess. RF. This is probably some kind of serial floppy port, maybe. Not sure about that. Probably a parallel port over here. This might be serial. This here, I don't know. Interesting. What do the date codes tell us? Do we see any sensible date codes? So I see 86 date codes on the RAM chips, which would mean it's a pretty old thing. There's like a ton of ROMs, I guess. I'm guessing these are all ROMs. But they don't mean anything. 86, end of 86. So this was probably manufactured end of 86, beginning of 87, which makes it relatively old. It says here 0687. Probably the week, I guess. It's a revision D board. I have no ideas. I have a relatively good knowledge of C64 boards now. Okay, Stefan has a 1040 with the same board revision. Okay, if we have to look something up, good. I have pretty good knowledge of C64 board revisions by now, and also of Amiga boards, relatively at least. I mean, I only have one. Oh, no, I have two, but both are revision 5 boards. But I have seen a revision 6 board now. And I do know a bit about the other ones as well, from reading at least. But I have absolutely no clue about the Atari. If Amiga built cars, Atari built tanks. Yeah, maybe a bit, yeah. At least from the amount of metal used. However, interesting enough, the whole Atari is mostly off-the-shelf parts. I'm not sure about these two things. They might be proprietary. The ROM, of course, is proprietary, but that's always the case. But everything else is standard things. And the floppy controller, I guess, here, Western Design Center. Yamaha, of course, Motorola parts. Everything CPU related is standard. The video chip I can't see. I do know that the later models, the STE, etc., they had some blitter chips as well, which were missing, I think, on the ST. Here it is. I think this is the video section with like a million resistors and a few inductors here, the green ones, and a very weird capacitor botched onto whatever that is, an inductor or something. I'm gonna close this up again. We didn't look inside here. Non-upgradable tanks, yes. Indeed, I think the Amiga is better upgradable because it has the sidecar option for CPU, hard disk, RAM, whatever. It basically is the whole Motorola bus put to the outside. The big DIN port is also a floppy, okay. And it also has the trapdoor, whereas the Atari doesn't have any internal upgrades at all, but only this side thingy, which I don't know what it is, but it's 40 pins, so it might be... Is it enough for the bus? Probably not even. Maybe only 16-bit wide and power or something. Interesting. I'm gonna heat up the soldering irons because I hope that I will be able to get this shield off now. The problem with these boards is that even the unpopulated sockets have solder in the vias where you put the sockets, basically, because they use wave soldering, where basically the PCBs are put over a bath of hot solder, and basically they get solder from the bottom by going into this bath from the bottom, basically, and then the holes will fill up, and that's a problem. NecOS here, another DOS Reloaded fella. Welcome. Okay, let's get this shield off. I've talked enough. Question is, are there any screws in here? So, does anyone know how to get this shield off? Just by ripping, I guess. Probably. I'm gonna use a little lever. The good thing is there's a big rim at the outer edge. Ah yes, it snaps off. At least at this side. That's the reset button that I accidentally pressed. Sorry that you can't see much, but this is a bit tedious and difficult for you to do on the table. Oh. Let's hope that it doesn't turn into a repair video where it's Route 42 repairs broken traces. So this side I removed most. Ah yes, I think now it's coming apart. Yes, it's coming apart. And they use the paper option of insulating against the metal shield. Phew. Alright. So we could directly go for the solder pump. However, I think I'm not going to do that. Yesterday when doing the Amiga, it might also be that we have to clean the solder pump in between, because it clogs up very quickly with all this junk. Yeah, anyway, so I will put some fresh solder on the top, and then we have to check if we desolder from the top or the bottom. It's not looking too bad. There are a few ground planes here and there, so we might have to do from both sides, and maybe even with the soldering iron as well. Let's see. Yeah, this will be a tedious piece of work with a lot of mooing. Yeah, anyway, Stefan says not much expansions are available, but the CT, it's a German computer magazine, made an adapter with ISA, so the PC interface, and I believe the early Macintosh bus. Macintosh would make sense, because this is basically Macintosh, more or less. The Amiga also to a certain degree, but the graphics resolution on the Atari was much closer to that of the Macintosh, and I think the Amiga probably had some issues there. I'm wondering what value the capacitors in here are, but I would just put some 100 nanofarads in there. Maybe someone can look that up, if there is any particular value used for the bypass capacitors. So I'm just gonna wipe down with some fresh solder here to get the old one going, and maybe have a bit of flux here and there as well. Just for testing, like this. And then we're gonna test if the soldered pump here is happy already, and I shouldn't whack my iPhone with a hot solder pump. It's a bit of a problem regarding the space on my desk right now. I'm gonna put this upright like this, so it doesn't flow like onto the table or something. Okay, this didn't work at all. But that might be the ground pin, yeah. That's always the tough one. Yeah, let's do that from the other side in a minute. Yeah, this hole is much better. Yeah, this is going pretty well. This here? Yeah, it's also fine, I think. Okay, the capacitor is also free of solder now. I'm gonna turn this around now, because I don't want to touch the electrolytic that's sitting right next to there. And also I'm gonna desolder. I'm gonna show you in a second. Damage. Okay. These really don't want to come apart. Okay, I do have to do it from the other side, it seems. hitting our first snag here. Let's see if this... Yeah, this is a problem with the ZD915. Also having to put it away. I'm gonna put the board aside for a second while we try to clean this up. Alright. That's something that's very annoying with these. I think it might already be clogged. Let's put this to sleep. Let's also turn this off for a second. Usually you can, or I at least, open it up because the glass doesn't get very hot. But I know what the end of this heated barrel will look like. Yeah, it's totally crusted. Yeah, that's very annoying. Can you see this? It's like this weird shape. Let's heat it up a little bit. I'm basically gonna take it away with the soldering iron, with a little bit help from back there. Basically I'm gonna melt this away and let it drop on my mat, because that's what it's for. With a little bit of luck I will burn myself. Yeah, now it's clean again. A lot of gunk still coming out. We will probably have to do this more than once. I do have replacements for the glass tube and some other stuff, so it should be good for tonight. If nothing major breaks. Let's wipe this a little bit here through the groove. Let's take our board up again and let's retry. Alright, let's try it from the bottom side again. I'm now gonna, that's what I wanted to show you. There is a big ground plane here. Can you see that? Yeah. And this wire here is still with some solder in there, and that's because there's a huge ground plane which sucks away all the heat. So I will try from this side to desolder it. Because then I heat up the ground plane directly, and also I give it a few more seconds to really melt. No, that didn't sound good at all. I wonder. No, this doesn't sound like this is working at the moment. I would say, okay, need to turn this off. I would say I need to perhaps exchange the filter. You need really a lot of filters. Oh yes, this is totally clogged. Because I did a lot of desoldering yesterday. Yeah, let's give this a few seconds to cool off. These things make desoldering much easier, however, they still require a lot of maintenance. So, most of the time tonight you will see me do something like this. Now hopefully when I change the filter and clean this up a bit, we can do at least a couple of sockets before we have to do the next round of cleaning. I'm wondering if the expensive Hakko guns are better, or if my technique is not good enough. Maybe I have to leave the pump running for longer or something to clear everything. However, I mean, here you can already see the plate is totally, well, it's still hot, totally clogged as well. Look at this. Look at this. This is all. Let's do it like this. This is all solder. It shouldn't be there. I can actually break it out like so. I might have to fetch the vacuum and clean up this mess before we continue. Oh wait, look at this mess. I think this is kind of better. Lead. Tasty and sweet. So, I need to wash my hands before eating something. Outside it's freezing, 0 degrees. How about your places? How's the weather? Oh, you know what? It's clogged again. I hate it. Because it couldn't suck everything that was in there. Katrina says 2 degrees and rain. Inside it's 17.1. Okay, I'm so happy to live in this modern house with 3 pane windows and all this insulation. It's great. Nihonam has joined, says hello, how's it going? Well, I desoldered a few of the wires for the first socket, and then my desoldering gun clogged up. You see all the junk here. So yeah, we are maintaining, doing maintenance basically. Catriona has the heaters completely off. Well, I could turn down the thermostat, but yeah, no, I'm not at this point yet. Alright, let's see, that's up to temperature again. Let's shove this in here. And the stupid thing is, this is up to temperature at the tip, but not at the back. At the back I need to go with my iron and actually melt everything in there. Now it's hot enough so I can push it out with this sticky thing. So now I think it should be clean. PDXY666. I think I'm not that far away. 0 degrees here as well. Yeah, that might be the case. Probably another German, I guess. I think we're full of Germans now. I tried to fix TV set a couple days ago on stream. Dropped it on the floor face down. Now I believe that grill is shifted, causing rainbow on screen. Oh shit. I'm sorry. Like a CRT television, that's too bad. I'm really sorry. Okay, this sounds better. Okay, there's a lot of solder now on the mat. Okay, let's try again with the Atari. Okay, I'm gonna go for the ground plane again. Better, but not perfect. Ah, but the other holes work brilliant now. Yeah, that works well. Almost, almost. Yeah, that's working nicely. We almost have the first socket. Ah yeah, there's still a little bit of a bridge left. Oh. Okay, the bridge is gone. Neonam says it was basic but still good Sony Trinitron with dead EEPROM. I replaced it and channels work now, so this part is a success. Yeah, the Trinitrons are nice. Okay, now I have to go from... Oh, but still sucking, so that's good. I have to go from this side and a little bit at an angle, because there's a stupid can of a capacitor here. It's actually in the way. It's properly in the way. That sucks. Let's try it like this. Now, a very careful and precarious situation. The problem is how not to burn yourself. I'm just thinking. So it's this wire here. And I can't heat it up just by going from this side. The question is, can I do it with both my soldering iron? Let's see. This looks very precarious. I'm gonna put this down for a second. No, didn't work. Ah, shush. It's really in there. I think I got it. Yes, it's gone. Now the only thing is the wire on the ground plane. Because that needs a lot of power. Well, doesn't work. Let's try a few more of the neighboring ones. That works. Without fresh solder even. I'm just gonna go through all the non-ground planes ground plane ones, and then we think of something how to deal with the rest. Because in between we will have to clean the thing anyway. If it is only the ground pin, maybe heating from the underside and put the socket from the top. Yeah, that's true. If there's only one pin left, then we can just put in the sockets like that. PDX says, you're right, from Germany. We talked about the Gus clones, the Gravis Ultrasound clones. Got mine from Vogans now. I once got an Atari ST from math teacher, but it's long gone. Yeah. The Gravis Ultrasound clones. Which one? The Pico Gus? Or the Russian ones? The Gus R. You're nothing new in the chat, I thought. Okay, there I botched a wire. Let's see if we can fix it. Well, it's not broken, but yeah, it's clean. Slavic says, I've never been an Atari fan, but the case design was much nicer than Amiga. Well, they sure do look futuristic, I would say. And I mean, they had their design language going through all the products, even the Mega ST, etc. So I give them that. And I think the Atari wasn't that uncommon in Germany. I know at least one or two classmates that had one. Of course, the Amiga was also very popular. And of course, musicians loved the Atari. Because I think it was the cheapest computer you could get with MIDI. And this one here is... We didn't talk about MIDI, right? Because these sockets here, those are the MIDI ports. Built in from the get-go. So there's like 2 ground pins on each socket, it seems. Which is a bit annoying, but maybe we can work around that. And I need to desolder these two things for the capacitors. Let's see if we have to clean the pump again. Atari sells more in Europe than the US, says Stefan. And PDX says, onboard MIDI was a big selling point for these back then. Yes, for sure. I'm still successfully desoldering here. But it's slower than I was hoping for. Stefan says, the amazing thing is that the MIDI interface was integrated because of its simplicity. Yeah, MIDI is not that hard. I mean, every Arduino can do that nowadays. There are new Gus clones from David E. Larson. Okay. I still have the, this will be another stream of course, probably, the Pico Gus lying around here. I still have to put it together. I'm heating up the ground plane. Is that a good idea? I don't think so. Ah, with a lot of heating it works. Let's try this over here again. In the schematics it's similar to the keyboard interface. Well, MIDI is a keyboard interface. Still have to get a board for the Pico Gus, yeah. Okay, the capacitor wires are a bit annoying, it seems. Can understand, Commodore did not put one in, can't understand probably, Commodore did not put one in the Amiga. Yeah, I think maybe because it was too early. I think when the ST came out, MIDI was finalized more or less, almost. And I think the Amiga was too early, basically, because it came out in 1985 and had been around, at least in concept, for at least a year. So when was MIDI standardized? Can anybody look up? Although I would have guessed that it was like 1982 or 83, but perhaps it was not widespread. In the 500 and up, yeah. They could have added it, yes. But they didn't. Which was a good thing for Atari, I would say. Oh, that was too quick. Let's heat up a bit more. The ST board looks almost blue in the video stream, but it's green, dark green. As most of the PCBs, but not the Gravis Ultrasound. That was always red. No, too quick. Better is. I think I almost got the hang of it. I definitely need to heat up longer because there's so much thermal mass on this stupid board. And the capacitors will be a bit of a problem because their holes also have huge thermal mass. Takes a bit of patience. Like this one didn't work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that did work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, MIDI was standardized in end of 82 basically, okay. Well, so Commodore could have gone that route, I would say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I forgot one whole row. Let's do this. That's good. Man, they could have used higher density RAM. But to be fair, I think the Amiga from the same time frame used the same amount of chips. I think the Ref 5 boards also have like 16 chips for half a megabyte. So that's just fair. Neckware says, which temperature do you set it up? Well, I mean it's a ZD915, so I'm not trusting the thermometer on this, or the thermocouple, but I'm going for 360 degrees Celsius. I don't want to go much higher because I don't want to damage any wires or pads, but 360 works fine. I'm not sure what the real temperature is though. Yeah, I got the hang of it, I would say. But we might have to clean it soon again. I see already a lot of sputter in the glass tube. A lot of sputter. So let's see how long we can go. we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sockets now. So we're not even halfway there. Maybe we can put in some sockets soon when this thing clogs up, basically. But it's definitely easier than going with a manual desoldering pump, I would say, at least. Oh, I saw something flying into the glass tube. Oh, that was not long enough. That's one of the ground pins again. No, it's not happy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, counting to 5 works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This time it didn't. 1, 2, 3. No, I have to go from the other side for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that worked. Yeah, I think this was a good investment. At least for Stefan. He will get 2 boards with sockets. So I think I could turn off my heating now in the flat because of all the electric heating I'm doing here. And thank you for everyone to join on such short notice. I thought, well, maybe it's a good idea to stream this instead of just doing it in my chamber here. Yeah, that worked well. 5. That didn't... well, it did work. I'm surprised. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, perfect. It's a bit zen-like. Let's try this one again. Well, the ground pins at the top, they don't work. They just don't work. I think there's one that we can try. Especially, it takes off the top part, but it doesn't melt all the way through. Yeah, it doesn't melt all the way through. So, I think we have to go with the one pin that doesn't make it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do 8 and then we have half done and we can maybe solder a few sockets before I finish the stream. As I said in the description, I won't be doing a very long stream tonight. Solstice is not here, she's on a retreat. We'll be back on Sunday evening, but I think we won't do a stream then. But I thought I wanted to share this bit of desoldering fun here. Oh, that didn't work at all. You can always hear it again. Good for me that I found the 128 for cheap for you, otherwise I would not know how to thank you for the hard work. Says Stefan. Yeah, he got a hold of a Commodore 128, he told me today. Which is one of the machines that I don't really have to own, but I would like it a lot to have one to play around with, because the 128 is a very interesting machine, plus I read Bill Hurt's biography basically. He's a weird guy, but he's also a very interesting character to say the least, and he designed the 128 more or less, or took over when the project started. Katrina says, my spouse is at a work Christmas party, and you weren't invited, woohoo! But you did the next best thing to join my stream. I should break out the booze and have my own party. Yeah, that's a good idea. Nekroa says, sounds like a plan. Yeah, definitely sounds like a plan. Do it. My booze is without booze today. Because I didn't have any cold beer with alcohol. But I think, considering what I'm doing right now, it's probably a good idea to not have alcohol. Teachers, they don't like outsiders when they talk smack about the pupils. Yeah, that might be true. No, that didn't work. Let's heat it up a bit more. Yeah, that sounded much better. PDX says, even the MPU 401 came a bit before the Amiga 8485. Yeah, but honestly, that was Roland, and Roland was... Well, I would guess they invented MIDI. Or at least they were on the committee that defined MIDI, right? I mean, they were at the forefront. Nope, that didn't work. Stefan says, rum is ready, as always. Excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we are at exactly halfway, with just a few problems here and there. Wow, yeah, this thing is already smelling a bit like very hot stuff. I'm gonna try and desolder the capacitor wires from the top. Oh yeah, they have huge ground planes as well. Yeah, that works from the top. That's brilliant. I'm relieved to see that. Come on. Yeah, that's working. And once we have that, we can put in sockets and capacitors. We can also try to do the remaining ground pins from the top. Maybe that will work. Well, this one is really stubborn. That's weird. Let's go to the next one. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that worked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this also worked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8.5. I did 8.5 because I calculated? No, I miscounted. So let's try this from the top again. 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I already hear that it doesn't work. When you hear the pump going, it doesn't work. It needs to be higher pitched. Almost like this, I wanted to say, but didn't work. Stupid ground planes. You could probably add MIDI to the Amiga as well, very early after release. Yeah, I do have a MIDI cable for the Amiga. I need to try it out, because there are like a handful of Sierra games that do support the MT32 even on the Amiga. And then you have much better sound actually, because the Amiga ports, as I always say, of Sierra games actually do suck a little bit. They are not really well done. Actually pretty badly done. Cheap ports. Could have been so much better on the Amiga. Yeah, this worked. So do we have all the capacitor holes now? Yes, we do, I think. I think that should be possible. The only thing that we don't have is a couple of the ground pins for the DRAMs because of heat issues. This one also didn't work. Okay, I'm gonna give up. This must be all we can get today. It's slightly annoying. And I'm gonna say we try and put in a bunch of your DIP sockets, Stefan. 2, 4, 6, 8, it's DIP 16, not DIP 20 as the other ones. Stefan, because it's you can have the cool dual wipe sockets or the CNC machine precision sockets that you sent me. Make your pick. I'm gonna do you have the last call, but I'm gonna make a poll. Which sockets to use? Dual wipe or precision machined? Off we go. You know my preferences since the last time with the CGA card. Did you actually add a voltage regulator to the desoldering station? No, this one is totally unmodified. I probably should open it up at some point and do all the modifications that people do. And then again, I think if it breaks, I probably just either repair it or buy a new one because it was so cheap, which is not very good just to buy a new one. I think it's not sustainable. But so far I didn't bother to open it up. Actually, yeah, maybe I should do that. So, how is it going? Nobody is. Come on, people, vote. Which sockets should we use? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, these are dual wipe sockets. They're called this because there's like 2 metal leaves in each hole that make contact to the chip. And the alternative is something, let me see, like this here, if I can get it out. Oh, come on. So here is another comparison, basically, if you want to make an informed guess. This is the precision machine socket, this is the dual wipe socket. Both have advantages and disadvantages, and there are fans of either. Yeah. Take a pick, and in the end, Stefan will decide anyway. Once he catches up with our stream, maybe tomorrow. So currently it stands at 100% dual wipe, but there's only 2 votes, so there are at least 4 more people in there. So Stefan, are you still there? Probably making his rum. So let's quit this, and two people said dual wipe. Yeah, that makes sense. So there are people who say the machine sockets so dual wipe might be better or not. Yeah, I would go for dual wipe as well. Last time on the CGA board, the machine sockets got loose basically, and didn't catch on to the ICs anymore very well. I'm not sure why, but it was just like that. And also on eBay you can get the dual wipe sockets for very, very cheap, more or less. So I'm gonna go with dual wipe as well. Yes, I think for the memory chips this is better, especially if you have to replace them again. So I'm trying to heat up. God, the problem is with the ground plane that even with this thing takes so much heat and time to melt through the wire. I don't get through there. That's weird. Ah, now I think I got it. No, I just pushed out the pin. So that doesn't work like I was hoping to. The machine one might be better to put in expansions like the CPU. Perhaps, yeah, I don't know. Also depends, I think, on the chip, what the legs look like, if they, because it's like, I mean, both are friction fit more or less, but this is like a leaf here, this here like a leaf spring that clamps down, and the precision ones, well, we did have one here. Where is it? It's gone. Well, they have like these little brass, they're very tiny, you can hardly see it. There's like these machined pins with the socket, but inside of the socket there's like a brass cup basically that does the friction fit. You can perhaps see that there's like two colors, an outer silvery color and an inner brass-like color. The new book from Eric Schlepfer, Tube Time, has actually a very nice picture of what these look inside, basically. Okay, I can solder this one here because I managed to take off the ground pin on this one. But I'm a bit annoyed at this as well, that I can't push through the via even when heating it. That's a bit very stupid, to say the least. Stupid ground plane, that is. Okay, this is in. I might have to turn up the heat a bit more, just because of these huge ground planes. Yeah. I'm gonna try and put this one in, and then I think, so now get a boost, then I think we will have to close the stream in like 5 minutes or so. But until then, you can still ask some questions or make some recommendations or stuff. Ah, look at that. 400 degrees seems to be the sweet spot for getting this in. There's a nice boost function on the T12 soldering station. where it temporarily goes up 50 degrees, which is nice. Oh, come on. Where am I? Here. It's really not coming through, is it? No, it's not melting. That's weird. No, it's not melting on the other side. And I'm already at 400 degrees Celsius. Wow. And it is getting hot. I feel it. Wow. That's actually pretty terrible. Wow, no, it doesn't work. That's pretty annoying. Yeah, okay. I think I will do this off stream, but at least we got like 8.5 of our sockets desoldered, minus these stupid weird ass ground pins. That's really annoying. So I have to think about how to do that. Probably by using the iron on 400 degrees boost and the desoldering gun. Because as you can see, there's like huge patches of ground plane, and this sucks away all the energy, and it will melt on the one side, but then the back side is like a cooling mechanism basically. Could also be like just a heat sink basically, and yeah, that's a bit annoying. So I would assume, if I'm not looking at the chat and stuff like that, this will take me probably another 1 or 2 hours to install everything. I'm wondering what kind of capacitors they used here. They got very weird numbering scheme on there. I see a date code, end of 86, just like the rest of the components, but nothing else. So I will just install 100 nanofarad capacitors. That should be fine, I would say. Yeah. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining on short notice. As usual, thank you very much for chatting. That's why I do these streams, because it's much more interesting than just sitting alone and watching some other YouTuber or something, or sometimes listening to music is fine. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, let's see where this goes. Next streams will be probably more again on other topics. We will have a Christmas live stream on the 23rd, I think. Didn't put up the stream yet, but will do so in the near future. So save the date, 23rd in the evening. We will do the Christmas tree. There's a Christmas tree kit from China that we have still lying around, and Solstice and I will put that together with all the flaws and problems that you will probably hope to see. And I do know that I think they messed up something in the kit. So there is definitely potential for failure and troubleshooting. So that will be fun. I still have a bunch of videos in the pipeline that I haven't quite finished. There's one from our trip to Brussels, which is a bit tedious to edit and to talk some sense into. Then there is of course the 1541 mod that I haven't done even yet, but the voltage regulators are here to make it run cooler, because I'm using the drive over there to basically write all my C64 floppy disks. Oh, look at that. Soul Sister has arrived. She's not here, but she is in the chat. Welcome. Next time, probably again with Soul Sister in front of the camera and at the soldering iron. And I was just about to close the stream and talking about future things. Then the Picogas, of course, from Ian Scott, that I'm very much looking forward to. Also, I want to continue the Let's Code Assembly series because I think that, at least to me, it's interesting. Yeah. What did you miss? Everyone that has just joined, not only Soul Sister. First of all, we made a huge mess here because the desoldering station was clogged up from yesterday's Amiga modding. Then it worked more or less pretty well. I got the hang of desoldering stuff, but we have a bunch of holes on the ground planes that are refusing desoldering basically. I managed to put in 2 sockets, but I think I have to go about this, and I probably need Soul Sister's help. Go from both sides with the iron and the pump to get it out. Otherwise, we took a look at the Atari, which seems to be from very early 1987, from the looks of it. 06, 87. And all the chips are from 86, or I think they are actually from 86. And the Atari is an interesting machine. It's from the era of the Motorola 68000 machines. It's the same CPU as the Amiga 1500 and also the same as the Macintosh. So all of these are related, but it has some differences. It has the Yamaha chipset for the sound, and simple FM chipset, a huge ROM containing a graphical user interface, basically similar to what the Amiga and the Macintosh offered at the same time. Although this one here was based on technology from Digital Research, who are known for CPM. Gary Kildall being the head of the company, very cool, nice guy who sadly passed away like 25 years ago or something in a plane crash. Very interesting machine, mostly off-the-shelf parts. I don't know what these 2 things do, but I think these are the only proprietary chips, probably. Can't see it because they are clamped down. I don't want to remove that. And not sure about the video chip here. That might also be Atari technology. And of course the MIDI ports that made the Atari quite a bit of a success in the music industry. And they had been in use for quite a long time, I think. Again, thank you for watching. I will finish this up at some other point and send all the stuff back to Stefan, along with the CGA card. And then he can take over and put in RAM chips, if he can find them. And enjoy 1 megabyte of RAM on this 520 ST, which currently only has half a megabyte. So, thank you for watching. Please tune in next time we go live or a video comes up. Have a nice evening. Bye.